Okay, so if you follow my handout last week, the first step is to create the new class. I call it Navigator, right? So I just copy that, and I'm going to put it in a separate Swift file, and I'm going to right click and new empty file, and the prompt on the left side, and I'm going to rename that into a more appropriate name. Let me call it My Navigator. And then inside that, I'm going to import SwiftUI. I'm going to create a class, right? So I'm following my handout last week. So again, I'm going to call it My Navigator, and My Navigator is a child class of observable object. Now, if you follow my handout again, for each screen, you have to define your destination, right? So this is when I have the enum. So I'm going to use enum, okay? I'm going to call it destination. So what is the case here? Well, I'm going to use the name of the screen as my destination name. So I'm going to have 5, right? I'm going to have the login screen. I just call it login. Maybe if you want to be explicit, you can say the login destination. The name is up to you. And the second screen is the new account destination. Okay, and the other screen is the main game, right? Let's call it like game destination or play destination, whatever name you prefer. Okay, and do have like the setting screen destination, and then just type it setting destination, and then and let's call this one the statistic destination, right? When we have the 5 destination, we will associate this destination with a view later on, but we are preparing. So now what has to go inside the My Navigator? So if you follow my handout last time, I do need a stack, right? I need a stack, okay? And again, in my handout last week, I create a publish variable, okay? And I call it nav path, okay? And the type is navigation path, and I want to initiate with a new object, navigation path, okay? So the shortcut to compile in Xcode, the shortcut is Command B. So if I press Command B, it will recompile. So build failed. So what's wrong? Okay, navigation path is only available in iOS 16 or newer. So do you get the same error? Okay, so to fix that issue, I'm going to go to the project. Okay, so if you go to the left panel, I think this is what you call the navigator. So the leftmost button, okay, and if you click on the root, which is the project name, and you will see in here that currently I set my project to be a minimum deployment on iOS 15. So I need to change that to 16. And again, I just press Command B. You see there's no error. Compile succeed. So then I don't have that issue anymore. So currently what I'm using for my stack is a built-in navigation path. Okay, but if you remember last week, I said basically the backing store of the navigation is a stack. You can replace with your own stack if you want to. So you don't have to use navigation path. Navigation path is just a built-in, okay? But if you want to have more control on manipulating the stack, you can just create with your own array, okay? So you have the 2 options. I just declare both of them at the same time, okay? But now I'm going to call it navigation, or maybe I make it more explicit, my nav stack, okay? And this is just like an array of destination. And I want to initialize to an empty stack. So you can use that. If you do want to have more control on manipulating the stack, you don't have to use nav path. The two minimum function that you want to have in here will be to navigate forward, and navigate forward meaning pushing more destination to your stack, okay? And then navigate back. Navigate back means you want to pop item from the stack, right? So at this point, I do want to build those two feature, and I will just call it navigate to make it more readable. Navigate, the function name is navigate, but it will take an argument. The external name is to. The internal name is just not to make you confused. I'm going to name it to D. Okay. So the external name is to. The internal name is D. Okay. And what I need to do there, I just push that item to the stack. That's it. Okay. That's how you navigate to a new destination. So using my nav path, I just need to append. And again, Xcode is smart enough to give me that autocomplete. Okay. So I'm done with that function. And the opposite direction, when you want to go back to your previous screen, you want to be able to navigate back. Okay. And then you can say, you can call it whatever name you want. You can call it back to where I was. Okay, you can call it whatever you name here. This is not a magic. Okay, and then the important code there is to remove the last item from the stack. Okay. And if you follow my handout, there is a function remove last. That's it. Okay. So that's how those are the two important. You can add more if you want to have more control. You can add more. Okay. So now I'm going to comment out my stack because we're not using it. Okay. And just to make sure that everything compiles fine, no error. Yes. Command B. There's no error in my navigator. Okay, so question about step 1 in my handout. So step 1 is easy. Okay, so now I'm moving up to step 2. So step 2, well, this is where you will use the navigation stack, right? And you have to do that in your view. Okay, so I do have the game view. Here. And if you look at the structure of my game view is called from my app. Okay, so we have the app, we have the scene, and game view is currently the topmost, right? Currently is the topmost. Okay, but I think now with your new navigation, you want to change the topmost. The landing page should not be the game view here. Okay, so now if you look at my handout, I do need to include a navigation stack. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to create a new file. You can call that file any name you like. Okay, again, I'm going to right click anywhere on my left panel and a new empty file. So let me call it app view. Okay, you can call it any name you like. Okay, but I'm going to call it app view, and this is a SwiftUI. So I'm going to import SwiftUI, and this is a view again. So I'm going to create a structure. So I hope now you remember the routine. And I'm going to call it app view, and app view must be in compliant with the view protocol. And inside the view protocol, there's a property called body, and the body is of type SomeView. And this is when I'm going to call my game view in here, okay, for now. So basically, I'm just inserting a new parent, right? I'm inserting a new parent between a game view and the app itself, okay? Because now game view will be a child of the navigation stack, okay? So let's confirm that everything works. Let's see if we can see the game view in your emulator. You can click that triangle, or the shortcut is Command R. So I'm going to press the shortcut Command R, make sure there's no error, and the game view still show up on your emulator. Well, I don't know whether this is from the previous run or from my current run. So what I'll do just to confirm that this is from my new run, and I'm just going to put my name, okay? Just to make sure that I'm looking at the latest build. So again, I put my name in my view, and I have to press Command R again to run the emulator. Succeeded. Yes. Okay. I just confirmed that it is now my latest build. Okay. So then now in my app view, so I'm still in step 2 in my handout. Okay. So what I have to do is I need to put the navigation, right? I need to use the navigation stack, okay? So now if you look at the sample, if you look at the code, so inside my app view, I'm going to use a navigation stack, okay? So the navigation stack will have game view as the child, but the navigation stack require a parameter, and that parameter is the path, okay? And if you look at my handout, the path comes from my navigator, right? So that's why I do need to declare my private var. I call it nav controller, just to mimic what we have in Kotlin. Okay, the type is my navigator, and I do want to instantiate an object, my navigator. Okay, so now the path would be navigation controller nav path, which is the stack, that I have at line 20. Okay, question so far? So let me go back to app view. So what is the error here? Cannot convert value due to the error is truncated. So when the error is truncated, you can also see the error from here. Okay, so from that icon, the question mark triangle, cannot convert value of navigation type to expected type, argument type, binding. Okay, I'm binding. Remember we talked about binding last week. What am I forgetting here with binding? One character that I forgot. $sign. Oops, wrong spot. Okay, let's compile. So I do need to say observe object. I forgot to include the observe object property wrapper. Observable object. Observed object, yeah. Okay, no error. So everything looks good so far. So again, Do it step by step. Then confirm that you can see the game screen after you add the navigation stack. Okay. So then if something is wrong, then you know how to fix that issue before moving too far. Yep, I can see the navigation screen and it's there, but I don't have any way to navigate between screen. Okay. So now, of course, I do want to start with a different screen, not the game screen, right? And I do want to start with, I'm ahead of myself. And if you look at my handout for step 2, I do need to inject the navigation controller as an environment object. And in my handout, I'm doing that here. Okay. So environment object, the object that I want to inject is the nav controller. Why we want to do that? We are trying to make this object available throughout the view tree. Okay? So now anywhere in your view, you may be able to use navigation controller. So then you don't have to pass as an argument. If you remember the trick that we did in Jetpack Compose, we pass that navigation controller as an argument to your function. We don't have to do that here. Okay? How many of you have used React? Yeah, React has the same idea with context. Yeah, this is exactly the same. Okay? So now my landing screen is no longer game. Okay, my landing screen is the login screen, right? So again, I'm going to create a new. Let's create all the screens now. So let me show you a different way of creating the file. Okay. So now you can also use a new file from template. I've been using new empty file, but I can also use new file from template if you pick that. And you can see one of the options is to create a SwiftUI file down here. And you have to name the file, and I'm going to call it login view. And it will create the file for you. Okay, so to save some keystrokes. And again, I'm going to add more files. I have the login view. I have the new, I'm going to create the new account view. Okay, new account view, same spot, same place. Okay, just stub for now, nothing, just everything just say hello world. So now we have all the files. Just to make sure where we are, just replace the text just for now. Okay, with the text, with the title, so then you know where we are. So text, this is the statistic view. You will see your game stats here. So now we do want to change the landing page. We do want to change the landing page from game view to login view, right? The landing page is no longer the game view. The landing page is the login view. Okay, I just changed that, compile, Command R to run, and the landing page should be the login page now. So what's wrong? Am I creating the latest copy? Okay, where's my app view? My app view is here. I change it to login view. Okay, and I call app view. Oh, I forgot. We've been looking at the wrong one. So I do want to change the starting point. It's no longer game view, but now it should be app view. Your question is in this screen? Yeah. So the app, when you start your iOS app, this is like the main. Okay, so you see that main? Okay, this is the main. Okay, the main app, and the main app is called iOS 1024 app, and the app has one scene. So application and scene is a carryover concept from Objective-C. So they continue to use that. Okay? But now with SwiftUI, you have to create your UI becomes a view, right? So the app view on line 14 is the first view. Okay? The first view that you will see that will be invoked from the main program. Okay? So this is the first view. So you can call it main view if you wish. But inside app view, so app view is a view. So basically I'm making a navigation stack as a child of my app view. But then my navigation stack has another child. So now you can think that login view is like the grandchild of app view. Why do we use this trick? Because we want to be able to provide a space for you to navigate in and out. Okay? So whatever you have inside the navigation stack is the part that would change in and out. Okay? Yes, Clay.
So is it like, just for clarity, that we don't just put the navigation stack in the 1024, in the iOS 1024 app? Or can the navigation stack, does it have to go in a view? Is that the reason why we're like doing it?
I think you can do that.
Because like it's like we're routing from iOS 1024 app to app view to a screen.
Okay. The issue with moving this chunk. So, are you saying that try to move line 11 to 17 to app view?
Well, it's just like, what's the benefit of having it, having like iOS 1024 app route to app view, which just routes you to a screen?
Okay.
What's the benefit of having like the system where you have to do it twice?
Okay. So now we have to we add besides the view itself. We have some variable, right? Like observe object. Mm-hmm. Okay. I never tried this, but I think if you declare, if you do it inside if you declare everything in here, mm-hmm. Now you're working inside a scene, not inside a view. Okay. So I think all those property wrapper works only inside a view.
Gotcha.
And I didn't try it yet. I never tried that. Mm-hmm. Okay. But I doubt if that will work. Okay? Yeah. Yes.
Can you share the distinction between scene and...
So, one app may have multiple scenes. One scene may have multiple views. So this is like one too many kind of thing. Yeah. So, is that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. We do want to confirm that the output is now correct. Okay, so now it should be the login screen. Yeah, login here. Okay, so of course we don't want to have only login here. You do want to start navigating, right? So then this is when I'm trying to do more work. So start with the navigation view. I will skip the input field and so on and so forth. I will just focus on navigation between screen. Okay, so that means what we need here, I do want to keep the content in a vertical stack. So I'm going to add a vertical stack, and then I'm going to put a button. So the button will say login, and then some action, and we're gonna have two buttons, right, on the main screen. Okay, and the second button is a new account or something like that, or sign up. I'm in step 4, and I do need to pull the environment object, right? So I do need to supply a lambda there, okay? And then compile just to make sure we don't have any error. Yes, okay? So now I do want to pull the environment object here using a property wrapper. My @ environment object, And you can call it any name you like. I just call it what, but remember the property is my navigator. Okay, so the name doesn't really matter. So the important is the type. So this is when I do want to move to my game screen, right? So after you've verified the user ID and password, if it is correct, then you want to move to the game screen. Okay? So, but if I do want to add that functionality, to confirm, to authenticate with Firebase, so what I will do is I'm going to create a function, okay? Check password, check authentication, something like that, okay? So now, instead of directly navigating there, I do want to navigate inside that check authentication, but in here, I'm now going to call my function, okay? And of course, that what navigate will be only after the user ID has been confirmed, right? Okay? But I will skip that part for now. So how about signing up? Well, when I sign up, I do want to transition to the other screen, which is my what navigate to. The destination is the other one, and the destination will be the new account destination. So if I run this, it's not going to work. Okay? If I run this code, it's not going to work. So let me show you. The button is there. Okay, the button looks ugly. Sign up, sign in here. You can click. Well, it kind of worked, but you see that it's trying to navigate, but with unknown destination, right? Okay, so the navigation worked, but the screen doesn't show up. Okay, so what's the issue? The issue is because we didn't tell. Well, let me fix the button issue. I hate to see that button to look like that. I just want to apply button style so they look nicer. Okay, and I'm going to use the bordered prominent. Okay, so there's a trick. Instead of applying button style to each button, you can also apply to the parent. So that's what I'm doing. So then I don't have to call button style twice on each button. Just apply to the parent. And I do want to put them in a row. So let me put them in a horizontal stack. Okay, so then it's there. So if I run again, the view, the layout should be better. You have the button side by side with color and so on. Okay. Now, how do I fix the issue with missing view? Then this is explained in step 3 of my handout. Okay. So if you look at my step 3, I do need to say navigation destination, right? So that's what's missing. So under there, I need to say navigation destination for what type? The type will be the destination that we declared earlier. And the argument is a lambda. You can see from the parentheses and arrow that tells you it is a lambda. So then I'm going to put that lambda here, okay, and call it D. Lambda in Swift, the syntax is like argument name, and then in instead of arrow. Then I just need to do a switch statement. So basically, when D is blah, I want to show what screen. Okay. So this is just a simple case statement. So when it's a game destination, and what do you show here? And you're going to show the game view. Okay, and then you have to do that for every destination in your enum. So the second one is a new account destination. Again, I want to show the new account view. And the third destination is the setting destination. And again, I want to show the setting view. And then the statistic destination. And I want to wrong autocomplete. Statistic destination. And I want to show the statistic view. Okay, what's wrong with this? Build failed, new account view. Cannot find new account view in scope. I may name them differently. New ACCT view, yeah. New ACCT, not new account. So settings, setting without S, setting, statistic, I call it stat view. I just peek over to this side, right? Okay, and it says switch must be exhaustive. Why? Because we have 5 destination. We have 5 destination in my navigator. So actually, I don't think we're going to navigate into login. Okay, so I can remove that. Okay, or you can include like a dummy destination. It's up to you. Okay, so either well let's do the other way. So just to make it compile, and you say case login view login destination, but I don't want to call login view. Okay, so I just want to say this should not happen. Okay, just in case we make a mistake. Yes, Gabby.
Don't we have to eventually implement log out? So wouldn't it get navigated to then?
Yep. To log out, what we need to do is just to empty the stack.
Oh.
Right? Because we start an empty stack. Okay. When you empty the stack, the effect is the same as log out.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. Good question. Okay. So now let's run. Let's compile and run. So now we have the view in place. Okay. See what happened? If I press sign up, it should move me to the sign up screen. Yes, we are there. Okay. And when we go back, if we click the login, assuming that we already authenticate the user ID and stuff, right? It should take me to the main game. Yes. Okay. So it works. Okay, so now what we have to do now is we need to add more, right? We need to add more. I'm not going to. I will focus on the navigation part for now. So let's add more button, because on this button, right, on this screen, we do want to give a user 2 options: change his mind of creating an account, cancel back to the login screen, or create the account and move to the game screen, right? So let's add the 2 button inside new account. So new account is here. And again, I do want to put them in a vertical stack. And I'm going to have the 2 buttons side by side inside an horizontal stack. Button, let's say not now. Okay, and there's some lambda with that. and then button, let's say create account, and you want to move to the next game, to the game. Okay, so here again I do need to extract the environment object, var. Again, the name is not important. Okay, let's call it navigator now, or driver, whatever name. But the type is the more important one. Okay, my navigator, driver. So what do I do when the user changes his mind or her mind? And if we just say driver, hey, go back to, what do you call driver? I use a long name, right? Back to where I was. I misspell, right? But that's the intention. And here, when you create the game, well, of course, at this point, you do want to create an account, connect to Firebase, and so on and so forth, right? So then here, maybe I'm going to call a function. So function create account, and inside that create account, after you the account is created correctly, then you want to navigate to the game destination. Okay, so inside that create lambda, I will just call the function create account. Are you still following me? Does it make sense? Okay, so driver. I do want to rename this one back to where I was. Okay, let's fix that error. Back to where I was. So again, the name, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to make you aware that this is your own function. So sometimes I'm making like silly name in my variable. Because if I use a nice name that you will think, is that a built-in type? No, it's not a built-in type. Okay. Okay, so now let's confirm that this one works. The navigation flow is correct. So sign up. I expect to see the text field and so on. And if I change my mind, not now, it should take me back to the login screen. Okay, if I create the account, assuming the account is confirmed, I'm now back. I'm now in the main screen, the game screen. Okay, question so far? So I can repeat the process. Now I need to add more buttons on my game screen, right? So on my game view, then I do want to add buttons below my grid. So now let's say I'm going to put these buttons inside another horizontal stack. Okay, so button, let's say done with the game, log out with lambda. Okay, I want to go to the settings screen, settings with a lambda, and I want to go to the statistics screen with a lambda. Okay, so now you know the routine. We do have to pull the environment object. So environment object, let me call it driver again, and the type is my navigator. Okay, build, make sure there's no error. So there's an error, I forgot to put var. So command B, succeeded, no error. Okay, why the error doesn't go away? So let me confirm again. Yep. Okay. So I think there's a bug in iOS. So what do you do when you log out? Well, this is when you want to empty the stack, right? This is when you want to empty the stack, and we don't have that feature yet inside my navigator. Okay, so then let me just call a function. Let's call it like back home. Okay, you can call it whatever you like, but the intent is just to empty the stack. So how do I empty the stack? And then just there's a function called remove all. Remove. Okay, so we don't have that function, so then we do have to do some trick. Remove all. So we have to keep removing all until the stack is empty, right? So we need a loop here. So remove last. Sometimes I want to turn off the autocomplete. The autocomplete can be annoying sometimes if you know what you're trying to type. Okay, so then I'm going to say while navpath count is bigger than 1, remove last. The goal is to empty the stack. Okay, so again, this is just like array manipulation. There's nothing special with that navigation, just array. So I know I have a function now to be home again, and I can do that. I can call that from my game view. So when I log out, I will tell my driver, hey driver, go back home. Okay. So when I click the setting, hey driver, go to navigate to the setting destination. Hey driver, when the button draw show statistic is called, and I will say navigate to statistic destination. Recompile, succeeded. Okay, and then I have this error, and I think there's a leftover. Cannot find. Yeah, if I command B, succeeded. There we go. Okay, I don't know why we see that error. Okay, so questions so far? So we should be able to navigate among the 4 screens, right? So let's run again, confirm. The starting screen should be the login. If I say sign in, I'm in the game. I hate the button style, so let me fix the button style first. So again, what I'll do is I'm going to apply button style to the stack as a group. Here, button style, I'm going to use bordered prominent. Okay, so then you can see individual buttons side by side. Okay, sign in, and then when I log out, it should take me back. Nope, it doesn't work. Okay, let's see if setting works. Yep, setting works. This is your game preference. Okay, show stat. Yep, it works. So now what's wrong with log out? Okay, so now let's debug. Let's debug what's wrong with that back home. So I just place a breakpoint and then run again. Okay, so we are calling back home. So the lambda is there. I do want to step into. I'm using that button. Yep, we are here. So what is the nav path? Okay. Oh, I should say count bigger than 0, right? Not count bigger than 1. That's why. Yeah, okay. Yeah, count bigger than 0. Okay. So let's try again. So confirm that it works, and let me run again. Sign in, log out. Yep, I can now disable my breakpoint. Yeah, it's back. Yeah, okay. So it's working. Sign in works, log out works, setting work, and show stat works. So we have to add more buttons. So let's add more buttons inside the setting. Question so far? Okay. We are inside the settings screen. Under the settings screen, I do want to add maybe 2 buttons. Okay. The 2 buttons are button, maybe this one, use new settings with a lambda, and or maybe just cancel, use default or use current. Okay. So now, of course, when you use the new setting, you may want to modify your view model, right? You have to interact with your view model. Okay. So now let's say you do that, updating the new setting inside a function. I call it apply settings. Okay. So now in handling the new setting button, you will call that function. Okay. And then you do something with your view model and stuff. And let me put a comment here, manipulate your view model. And then after you're done, you want to be back to the previous screen. And same pattern again, I do need to capture the environment object. I call it driver. The type is my navigation, my navigator. And when you're done applying the setting, you will say driver, go back home. No, back where I was. Okay, and when you cancel the setting, you don't need to apply anything, just back to where I was. Okay, and run again. So sign up screen, sign in screen, settings. Again, I forgot to apply the button style. Let me apply the button style while we are here. Button style, prominent border. Okay. Yep, run again. Sign in, settings. If I apply a new setting, I will be back to the old screen. If I use current, then I will be back to the game screen as well. Okay, that looks correct. And I can now add the statistic screen with more buttons. Okay, so the same pattern again. So any question about this exercise of building multi-screen?
Why, back home button to pop the stack back isn't working?
Which home button? The back?
The back home button that we created in the My Navigator.
Which function? This function?
Yeah.
Oh, it was 1 before. I made a mistake.
Okay.
Earlier, the loop condition is when count is bigger than 1. I think what we have to do is count bigger than 0, right? When it's not empty. So we will stop when the stack becomes empty. Yeah. So that was my mistake. Yeah. So after I fix that to 0, after I change that to 0, then the back button, the logout button works. Yeah. So again, I show you earlier that it is possible to use just your own array instead of using the nav path. Okay. So if I want to replace that, I can just uncomment that one, and now let me call it nav path. So you have the 2 options. So if you want to have more control on your stack manipulation, you can use just like a simple array. And I can recompile and just recompile, and it's no error. So the navigation logic will work exactly the same. Okay. Now on the game screen, you may want to hide the back button. Okay. So because you may want to have more control on this screen, right? So how do I hide the back button? So in order to hide selectively, what you can do here is when you're here, so when you are calling the game view, I want to hide the back. That's a long name function. Yeah, navigation bar back button hidden. Okay, that's a long name, right? So, and you will just say true. Okay, by applying that modifier, then the back button will be hidden. So that will prevent your player from pressing the back button. Okay, yeah. So the back button just disappeared.